Yo, what's good? It's Eric Vapen Sutton, Sutton. I'm a former professional Valorant coach, coached with Cloud9, 100 Thieves a little bit, and then most recently with OR Esports in the Challengers division. I'm just going to kind of VOD review this and watch it just organically and just kind of point out things that I might notice. And yeah, we're just gonna fucking learn, I guess. I've been really enjoying the VCT Americas games. I feel like all of them are super high quality. It should be a really good season. Um, but yeah, I think the teams, like the overall level of play, has definitely increased since last season. Mainly in the department of people, like individuals having crazy levels of discipline and making themselves very, very hard to kill. There's a lot more of um, team unity and togetherness, right? More like hive mind mentality, or pack mentality, I guess you could say. So teams are actually making the game very, very difficult for the other team and not giving away a lot of free picks. So these are things that I think kind of the ability to do that will kind of bridge the gap between tier 2 and tier 1 players, right? And help you take the next step. So I'm trying to kind of identify cool pieces of util, but then also really cool moments that might go overlooked when most people VOD review these matches. I'm just gonna get into it. Before every round, I'm just gonna like pause and take a look at the ults, the economy, see if there's anything crazy going on that might dictate the way that the other team is playing. As a reaction to the information given to you every round when you hit tab. This round, let's take a look at the util. Looks like we got a retake A set up by SEN. Loud is going to go for an A hit. Interesting thing I see off bat is this Viper wall. Now this is like the DRX wall that they used to throw. So instead of throwing the wall from, can you even see my cursor? Yeah, again. Instead of throwing the wall from right to left, they throw it left to right. This wall is kind of cool because in theory, a lot of teams on split have this protocol to just retake ramp, right? Instead of just hard going out heaven or hard going out screens. It can get kind of clusterfucky if you come heavy out screens, and coming out of heaven can also be kind of a shit show because you're exposed to so many angles, right? So a lot of teams have this protocol that they're going to go ahead and retake heavy through ramp. Now, if you notice, that means you're going to have to run through the enemy Viper wall, something that you wouldn't be doing if you had the wall going from right to left, but you have the wall going left to right here, right? So defensively, a team like Sentinels, Loud is gambling that this team, they're going to get onto A site, they're going to get the bomb down, and Sentinels is probably going to try to retake through ramp. If they do that, they have to go through the Viper wall not once, but twice to get onto the site. And in doing so, you give yourself a good opportunity to win out the post plant, right? Other interesting things that I see here. Omen Sheriff. Fuck yeah. Run it. That's really about it though. Omen Sheriff is the big thing. And yeah, we'll just play this round out and see what happens. Turn the volume down a little bit. Okay, fast A hit. Dog Hetman, pretty standard. Probably gonna have people coming down through lower at the same time. Made for hell. Get on. Okay. Take the site. I mean, the only thing that I really noticed there is just too much hang time on the satchel, but it's no big deal, right? So retake A for Sentinels. They went for some type of mid fight. They see nothing. Let's see how they approach this retake, right? Let's see if they go heavy ramp, like most teams would, I think. So they go for a dog ramp. Here it comes, right? So this orb here fucks them. This is really good by Sen, right? So they have the Viper orb for mid, start of round, two's playing Viper. Zelsis picks up the orb, takes it for the post plant, right? For the retake for heaven. Viper orbs this off, they nade it, and Viper Molly. This guy's dead. Now they have to deal with a full strength Viper orb. Oh, they Omen smoked it as well. Yeah. Really good round by SEN. They even went so far to smoke off the fucking spike. Like, right. So Tenza has 2 smokes on the retake. They retake through heaven like most teams would. Viper orb deep to make sure it's, one, they get vulnerable, right, if they try to run through. Secondly, being able to, like, they omen smoke it right after, and when that omen smoke fades, guess what? They can put the Viper orb back up, right? So they have basically, I don't know, 25, almost 30 seconds of stall time in this A main choke, and if you have numbers behind that smoke, pretty much lose around on attack, right? I don't know, things that Loud could have done better. Maybe better plant. Instead of planting for heaven, you plant close like this, because breach could blast. I don't know if he had a blast, but most breaches will go full util on pistol. You could blast through this wall, give yourself a little bit of a better fighting chance, just in case you're not able to get through this smoke here. But all in all, good round by SEN. Really good understanding of, like, transitioning from the mid fight. You get no value there. Okay, guess what? We have the protocol set. We're going to go ramp, which is very common for most teams. And then just having both smokes, both omen smokes, one for spike and one to chain smoke the A main choke, is really what won them the round. Okay, I'm going to kind of skip through anti-ecos for the most part. Well, let's see what happens. Viper Molly B main, this is super common, countered by the one way, but Viper Molly is going to beat that every single time. Get close B main. Satchel. I mean, I always feel like if you got a classic buy, even using a satchel like that, I think is just a waste of money. It's like, it's all about efficiency of economy. You know what I mean? Might as well save it for next round. Okay, Zekin's taking a 1. Not good. Jesus. So we've got Zekin taking a 1 here when he has nade. He has nade and a bunch of util. We got Saucy basically taking a 1, right? Yeah, 1-1-1, right? So if we just have more togetherness and play a little bit safer, play more for info and anti-eco, right? Usually you win the round. When you lose the round on anti-eco, it's because people get a little greedy and they're out of position and they're not peeking together, right? You always want to have multiple people on the enemy's screen in gunfights, right? Especially on gun rounds, but I mean, also on these anti-eco rounds, right? Losing one of these is so deflating. So fucking deflating. Let me pause here for a sec. Let's go back. Let's take a look at... Oops. Let's take a look at... Okay, any ults going on? Conezine's 3 off. Let me just send this text. Get back. Okay, so let's see. Full buy here versus low money. I mean, every team that I've coached has different philosophy on anti-ecos, right? At least the IGLs do. In my opinion, these are the rounds that you should not overcomplicate. You should, on attack, right? When you have a full buy and you're going against low buy, do not overcomplicate it. Over util things, clear the close angles. Just make sure that you guys are on each other's ass, right? Don't get judged, don't get shortied, right? Use util to clear all these angles. Make sure you have pack mentality. You're trading out, and you don't have to, like, force it through Viper orbs, Viper mollies, run through smokes. Like, the round is so long, you can play it out forever, right? And people will make mistakes. Let the other team peek into you. They're antsy. They have no guns, right? They're not gonna just sit and they might sit in a corner, but that means you can kind of contact up together as a unit, right? Like, a perfect round would be get across a ramp, contact up, right? Break this cam, hold for for the reclear, and then have your breach, your omen ready to blind off your contact, right? Or breach stun off your contact, and then you scale up and you take more space, right? I think a lot of teams get in trouble by moving too quickly, or they go to certain areas of the map that are just not favorable at all against low buy, right? How many times in your ranked games have you lost to, shorties in B Heaven, or like a shorty top ramp, or every map is different. On Haven, short A, like people go in there when there's shorties and judges and whatnot, right? So pack mentality is huge. I like to see that Loud is all together here, grouped up. They obviously understand that. Okay, insta dog. Again, this is what I'm talking about, over util, right? Breach flash early. Not really sure what that flash does, but whatever. Did he flash? Where the fuck did he flash? He flashes deep. I don't know. Whatever. I figured he would flash here for the close peek, right? And then the dog goes up, but whatever. Okay, scale with the dog. Nading. Roomba close. So here they're over utiling, right? Nade this. Roomba clears hell. Dog goes up ramp. They have info nobody's ramp, which means they got to be worried about guys super close on site, right? That's what that means, right? If you see numbers ramp, they can do two things. That's where the IGL comes in with the mid rounding and says, and honestly, it's probably a pre-round call. Dog goes up ramp. He's calling what he sees. If there's nothing ramp, we're going to hit over util site heavy, right? Now the breach still has his stun. I would imagine the breach is probably going to stun this line here, or he's going to have the map stun. IMO, I think probably this stun is better, but okay. Now let's see if they force it through the Viper util. They don't, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Don't force it through Viper wall. Don't force it through Viper molly. Take your time, right? Play the round out. They grab the orb. They're holding for reclear here. They get blinded. Okay, they know one's there. Now they're just gonna swarm these guys' side, I would imagine. Yeah, so this is really good round by Loud, right? Not forcing. This is the difference between tier 1 and tier 2 teams, right? Is like in moments right here, like before this nade comes in, sometimes teams are just fucking sending it into A. You know what I mean? But these guys realize, okay, nobody's top ramp. There's probably, let's just plan for the worst. The worst is that there's guys close here, and then this nade comes in. Let's reset the round. The ability to reset the round, play the round at your own pace, is what you need to do when you have the gun advantage. Also, what you need to do when you have the ult advantage, right? Unless you have set plays that you want to run. Okay, so good approach on anti-eco by Loud. Pens gets one. Okay, let's see here. Ults. Down Zine 2 off. No real ults yet. Zekin's 1 off. If we see some type of B main control early. So now Loud is swapping the wall, maybe? Let's see. Now they're doing more of a standard wall. So this one's a standard wall, but it's a little different, though. Right? No, it's the same. So that's fine. So nothing crazy here. Double trips on B. I always liked Cypher B against rounds where I thought the enemy team was going to raise ult B. You know what I mean? I think it's pretty strong. A lot of cool like trips that you can put out and get one, get out, and usually kill the raise. So let's see. They're going to go for, let's see what they do here. Okay, breaches here on this and B main with Omen. They prioritize getting B main control. There's a lot of reasons for this. Defensively, it's really good to pressure B main because you can get this early info. And a lot of the times, the way that people play split is sorry. Valor Plant, dude. It's been so long since I've been on Valor Plant. It's crazy. A lot of the time on split, what people will do is they'll run like a controller. Let's just do Omen on attack, Sky, raise. Depending on the comp, I mean, it's gonna vary, right? Viper, and sometimes you see Jet, sometimes you see Cypher. It'll just vary, right? But basically, the main thing is that you're kind of going with like this 1-3-1 approach, right? So let's just put fucking Harbor in mid, even though he's not usually picked. Kind of go with this 1-3-1 approach, and you'll kind of work mid with this 3-pack here, and then this B player will kind of be responsible for counting, seeing if there's any presence in B main from the defense, right? Now, typically at a higher level of play, there's always going to be some type of fight for B main, unless you're dealing with some type of Cypher setup on B, right? It's very, very valuable to kind of like hold this line or even poke into B main to look deeper to get more info, right? It's very common that you'll see like an Omen sitting out here super deep. Marved was like one of the first players to kind of just like Marved in that optics, the optic squad were very like big believers in this idea. And then guess what? They push B, you get the kill here, or you get info that they're pushing B. That means that they're probably weak B heaven, right? And then you can take the space here, and now you know that like on B site, usually when people pressure B heaven heavy, a lot of teams will have protocols to come and take B main, right? And what makes taking B main super easy in the mid round is if you already have some type of B main info at the start of the round. So a lot of teams will prioritize taking some type of space or info, whether it's one-waying this, Omen TPing across, right? Or roombaying, or they're setting up for some type of Omen flash, raise nade combo. You know what I mean? The possibilities are endless, right? But a lot of people will prioritize B main control the same way that a lot of teams on attack will also prioritize B main control, right? So that's why you saw the last couple of rounds Viper Molly here at the start of the round. This Viper Molly is so oppressive. It gives you so much control, right? And for Loud, what really makes this strong is the fact that they have Breach, right? Now, like you get Breach in this corner where he was on that round, he has an insane fault line that he can run. He can do it like this, right? And honestly, it's, in my opinion, the best one is like that, right? You get all of mail, you get all of ropes outside of this little fucking corner, right? And it really just helps your players get up into this area. Now, when you have control of this and you have control of, like, you basically clear this corner here and mail, it makes it super difficult for this B Heaven player. This guy has to make a decision, right? Am I going to play Z and play for info, right? Because, like, what's going to happen? He's going to get smoked out here, and he's going to have to nade and come through, or he's going to play the jiggle here, kind of how Zekin did on Anti-Eco and he died. He has to make a decision if he's going to go Z and run spawn. He's going to play Z and play to fight, or which is very common if you had a player like here, right? Or he has to make the decision, okay, if my teammate is solo on B, maybe I'm going to go play Rafter and play the off angle. Maybe I'm going to play up here. Maybe I'm going to play Hell, right? All of those things, right? So usually on these defaults, what you want to do, it's all about map control, right? So getting map control and forcing the defensive players to make a decision that strays away from what the pre-round call was, right? So like maybe Sentinel's call is to, let's fight mid. Let's fight mid. They got Viper ropes, they've got Raze mail, right? They got the orb mid, and let's say Loud Sky Flash mail. Zelsis pops the orb and uses one molly. Okay, that's, in my opinion, that's a win for Loud, because now they have this second wave of mid util that they can go through to default and push back this Raze and this Viper player. Let me go ahead and erase this, right? So this orb goes down. Guess what? Now it's time for wave 2 of the Loud default. And guess who's in position to help that out, right? Breach. Breach is ready. Zekin and Zelsis can no longer stay on this line because there's a million things that could go wrong, right? They know that because Breach is on the other team, that they can't really be playing in spots like this or like this. They can, but it's extremely risky. And you always have to be on top of, especially at the top level, tracking the rechargeable util from the enemy initiator, right? So if Breach doesn't use the stun at the start of the round, guess what? There are certain places that are just not safe for these mid players, right? And they have to respect that. So what's going to happen? They're going to fall back. They're going to make a decision. Am I going Z? Am I going Rafter? Am I going Hell? Either way, no matter what they end up doing, or are they going to fight forward? That's another decision. The only one of those choices that doesn't involve them losing space is fighting forward. And sometimes on defense, it's just not the answer, right? So by getting in this position, Loud gets a lot of space. And on this map, when you get space to pivot between pressure B heaven, right, and then go vent, like it really opens up these late round lurks on the extremities, whether it's B main or A main. And that's kind of the strength of playing this 1-3-1 approach, right? Is you have these extremity lurkers on the outside of the map, Cypher here or Viper Cypher here or Omen or whatever, and then you have this three man or 3-agent unit in mid that are push pulling at B heaven with the intention of, now they're pushing B heaven without the intention of hitting, right? So their push pull is like they're pushing this to pull the rotates over, and then while they do that, this guy goes all the way over here, and then this guy takes an aggro lurk up ramp or whatever and meets up with this guy going vent. So 2 people go up B heaven, 1 person goes vent, and then the lurker goes across A and tries to take the fight, right? And all you're really trying to do is get information on where certain agents are and really where the Cypher is, so that your people on the extremities can get these one-on-one fights with the person that is solo after you've kind of pulled and manipulated the map. Anyways, okay, let me just text my buddy back real quick. Let's see if we have anything crazy going on. I think sorry for yapping, but yeah, so nothing really crazy going on. We got nobody close to ult, right? Zekin's one off. That's big to track. I don't think he's gonna fight for an orb or anything like that. That's just kind of a mid-round thing if he gets a kill. Okay. Okay, so again, I'm gonna pause a lot. There's so much to talk about in these games. So like, let's just talk about the role of this, and I'm gonna bounce all over the place, and I'll probably get better at this as we go. The role of this lurker here, okay? The role of the lurker is not always to take space, okay? I want to be clear. It's not always about taking space. It's about threatening the fact that you might have taken space, right? Now, this is a super small thing that you might not understand in VOD review, or might just go overlooked, right? He walls up and he orbs up right away. Now, one thing that you can do from an anti-stratting perspective in this game is there are certain very common things that you do on defaults that almost all teams do on defaults. Like, for example, this A lurk is very common on this map. Orb up, wall up. What does the enemy team do in response to that pairing of util, right? Now, maybe they don't anti-strat, right? But I want to just assume that most of these teams do. And they understand that Saucy, and also Saucy's played with on Loud in the past, right? And so Sadok is very familiar with how he plays. And less is too, but so wall up, orb up on A. Let's see what they end up doing, right? Now, Sky is an info initiator who is responsible for a lot of different things, right? But defensively, Sky's main use case, at least when you're not fighting, is one, either bullying the lurk, right? 2, getting information on the lurk, right? Whether it's using a flash to get info or whether it's dogging through to get more info, you know what I mean? And then off of that info, really good Sky players and initiator players will go ahead and tell their team how to position or rotate accordingly based off of the information that they gained with the util usage, right? So here, Les walls up and he orbs up, right? He does this and he takes the risk. He's solo. He takes the risk to get out here A main by the orb because he's gambling that Saucy is going to flash through and try to get info to see if anybody's crossing, right? Does that make sense? So now, instantly, once the flash hits, let's watch it again. What does he do? He dips. His shit goes down. He dips, right? Now, there's multiple reasons for that. 1, he's alone. 2, he knows that his job as a lurker is done for now, right? His job is to make it seem like somebody could have gone, and they have no idea how many people could have gone across a ramp, right? Now, Tens is here ready to fight, and I think, you know, whoever Zelsis is here as well, probably ready to molly, probably molly that bounces into this corner. Tens can fight, and then Omen blind, and they can refight A main, right? But they have to keep numbers here because they're expecting a lurk. So what happens? Now Loud is ready for a B split to be main 2 through mid, and then Loud is probably going to late lurk across A. It's very common, right? Because these guys could push pull, they could push up B heaven, break the cipher cam, and at that moment, the rotations from the A players are going to come from A to B. You know, Cypher feels pressured. He has no info. Even with the trips and the cages and whatnot, it's still very, very hard for Cypher to hold on to site if the cam is not up, because he feels way more pressured against the Breach Omen comp than he would against like an Astra Jet, or you know what I mean? So that's kind of just the role of the lurker here, right? He understood that his job was to keep the lurker's job is to manipulate the information that the other team has, take a little bit of space, and threaten the lurk without dying, right? Which is what Les does here. Okay, so now they push towards, now this is also pretty small here, satchel into ropes. Now, satcheling towards ropes paired with the information that Saucy got on the A lurk cross, right, might be enough to, you know, get well, then they broke the cam here on B too, right? So now they don't really know what the fuck is going on, right? Because they sky flash across A, sky flash hit somebody. Now they satcheled into ropes. They took ropes. This could be an A split, right? This could be a B split. It could be anything. There's full map pressure. But look at how SEN is playing on the map, right? They've got no B heaven control. They've got A ramp control, which is important. They've got no vents control, and then they just have the trips on B, right? So they don't really have a ton of space. There's no B main control here. The ramps control is good, and they've lost info in mid, right? So this is a really good round for Loud, where they can kind of just push, pull, pivot, and figure out what they want to do, right? Okay, it breaks the dog. So there, Saucy's looking for more information, right? He has what? He has one more flash? No more flashes. So he used all of his info. Les breaks the dog, right? Now, really good teams, what they'll do. Fuck, this is gonna be such a long process. I'm 3 rounds in. He breaks the dog, right? Now, what a lot of teams will do is they'll have their lurker be the one who's leading the pack when they know that the enemy initiator hasn't used all of their util yet, right? So teams will sometimes have situations where, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a round later in this half where Omen is B main breaking the cam, but the entirety of Loud is behind Les here after a similar round like this, and then Les breaks the dog, and then they go pop A. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens here. So here, now look at the way that SEN rotates. Saucy has no more util to fight. He can't get info. He's probably going to just jiggle screens. Tens falls back. Viper leans B. Now, this is just, honestly, in my opinion, this is just a gut-based call by John QT or whoever on how they want to rotate in this round and play this round out. Sometimes you just need to make a judgment call. Play together. Let's play retake A, right? Which is what they're going to end up doing. But bomb is going over to A. So now look, now pay attention to this. These guys are going to push B heaven, right? While these guys walk across A. And the main reason for that, again, is the push pull. Keep the enemy team from rotating from one site to the other, and make sure that you have numbers when you're hitting on a site. Okay, so they smoke here, they flash, Roomba, nobody Z, good kill by Zekin, really good kill by Zekin. And now they're just going to instantly go, because keep in mind, the rotation time from here to A heaven is much quicker than B to over here, right? So Saucy gets on site. Now, this is a little risky business by Saucy here. It's either going to go really well, or it's going to lose them the round. Okay, he gets out. Good job getting out. Because you got numbers, right? You You got numbers and you have Raise Rocket. Like, getting on site there is actually kind of grief. So good job by him getting out, putting a little spam damage through. I think he hit Kalenzine a little bit. Let's see how this round plays out. That kill in B Heaven was so huge because it got second ult too, right? So good. So now he's got ult. Notice how loud is they're all playing off. Plant from Heaven, one person on site. There's a lot of reasons for this. It's just really, really hard if you have multiple people on site to not get railed by the Raise Nade and the Omen Blind and Viper Mollies. So this is what a lot of teams will do. They'll plant for Heaven while they hold on to A Heaven control, so this guy just doesn't die. In this case, they got the Raise ult. Okay. Job by Zekin. This is good. Got 3 people onto the site, and then you have guys. They know that this is very smart by Sentinels. They know that Loud likes to plant for Heaven, right? So how do you beat that? You go onto the site with people, you tap the bomb, and then you go and fight Heaven with more people. You know what I mean? Good kill. It's gonna be all on John QT here, but he's staying alive. See, this is, I alluded to it earlier. The difference between tier 1 and tier 2 player right here is literally John QT, right? This little exchange that you see, him staying alive here, these 5 to 6 seconds, wins them the round. You make the game hard on the enemy, right? He knows that he doesn't need to swing past this angle because they can't see the bomb unless they jump up. If they jump up, he's going to shoot them because he can see them. They have to swing into him. And he's staying alive. He is just staying alive, right? And they get onto the bomb. And they win the round.